Gardner from Hillside Garden Landscaping. And Jim, it's been a great summer. If you like that summer sunshine and heat, especially if you're near a pool or a lake, but are lawns and plants holding up well right now?
Well, let me take the lawn issue first. And, if your lawn is starting to look like this one in this picture, it's time to start watering. It really needs it. And it's still a lot of summer to go yet.
Gotcha. And is there a better time, to water?
Well, early morning or in the evening is better. A lot of times I'll see sprinklers go in the middle of the day. And, in the heat of the day like this, it's going to evaporate very quickly. And you really need the water to soak into the ground. So, morning or evening, better times.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like I'm in Florida right now. What happens if you don't water at all?
Well, I see a lot of people that don't water, and I see lawns that just burn right up. And 9 times out of 10, they will come right back. And what can happen is if it does die off or it gets thin, a lot of times the weeds come in, and like this crabgrass. Crabgrass has a tendency to come back, and there's a lot of other weeds they're opportunists, and they'll come in where the grass is weak.
And what about other ornamental plants like shrubs, trees, and perennials?
Well, if you see that your lawn's drying out, the chances are the trees and the other plants are being stressed as well.
Okay, and so the grass turns brown, and so you obviously know that it's dry. What about trees and shrubs? How do you tell if they're also dry?
And again, if the lawn's dry, the trees are soon to follow. And trees normally have deeper roots, and so they can tolerate a little more drought than say a lawn or grass can without showing any symptoms. But I oftentimes see, even in June, I'll see a tree that has pushed heavily leaves out, and then all of a sudden you start getting inside leaves that just turn yellow and dropping. Sometimes that'll happen very rapidly. And it's actually the tree's way of protecting itself. It's what's called a drought-induced dormancy, where it just, can't tolerate that many leaves, it just loses some of them. If we could do the same thing, it'd be different. Many, plants like perennials and grasses, they will show you, obviously, by wilting, that they're desperately in need of water.
Okay, and do you have any tips on, watering those plants?
Well, I find that using a hose with a drip, just letting it just barely drip at putting that at the base of a plant, that works great for a single tree or a newly planted tree or shrub or whatever. Even if you have a dozen shrubs and you leave that hose sitting there for like an hour at a time, slowly dripping in. I'd rather see somebody water really thoroughly deeply once in a week than taking a sprayer over the top of the plant every day. It just doesn't work as well. And if you have large areas to cover, there are soaker hoses that kind of do that same thing, where you hook them up and wind them through the plants. And that is a very slow watering as well.
Okay, thank you so much for these tips, Jim, and thank you for joining us today.